Aris got here, and it's time to talk about Game of Thrones. I mean Jujutsu Kaisen, because at this point, who is safe anymore? And Yuji is just on this continuous pain train that's happening right now. We're gonna get into it, but after this episode, depending what happens with Nobara, he lost Gojo getting sealed. He lost Junpei before that, before we get to Gojo. Then Gojo sealed, which we'll see when, how he gets released, if so. But then we had previous episode, he lost Nanami. Now we have what's happening with Nobara, and also we don't know the status of Maki. So at this point, if you have a favorite character, be ready. That's pretty much it, what's happening right now. But anyway, let's get into the episode and talk about it. Now, at the start, it picks up from last week. We still have the Mahito versus Yuji fight. Also, we see a bit of how Nobara got into the circle with the determination. She wanted to fight there no matter what. But the fight, Mahito using humans against Yuji, the continuous trademark, so to say. And Yuji had no idea what was coming, to say the least. It's like one after the other, one more gut punch to him. Then on the other side, there we had Nobara versus the Mahito clone. But the Mahito clone could only change its shape, so it couldn't do the full powers of Mahito, as in control transfigured humans, transfigure some of them, touch their souls and things like that, only shape changing. But here, again, the episode looked great considering the current situation with the animators, with Mappa. You guys know it, I've been saying it pretty much for a while now. Now, I had no expectations of Nobara winning, and I was like, how is she even gonna be able to deal damage to Mahito? I forgot about the resonance, which, sure, that makes sense. I kinda like how they used that power. We're gonna get to it, but here we have her fighting the nails. I really like her fighting style. It do look great, the jumping there, all of the nails, and even before from last episode, how she got under Mahito's skin, calling him out from for running away. Now, she puts up a very good fight against the clone, even jumps on him, gets a nail in his head and uses resonance there, which, with the way it works, being able to transfer her curse energy into something, if they have only a part. If you guys remember the fight from season 1 against the brothers there, how she used the blood in her to transfer her cursed energy to direct the damage into that other guy. So this is what she did here, and how she was able to touch Mahito's soul. She used the nail to do resonance in his head, but the damage went to the original Mahito, which helped Yuji quite a lot during the fight there, him taking damage, the perfect moment. And Yuji just, after that, thanks to Nobara, keep in mind, they weren't realizing what was happening. This was not coordination, it's just timing there. And Yuji just went Jojo, just muda, punching Mahito a lot there. Even commenting he feels a bit guilty for not doing more. But considering what he was up against, everything that happened, I don't know. But this is just Yuji, how he always wants to do more, takes the blame on himself. He's willing to die for the people that he cares. And remembering something very important, because he has this habit of putting everything on him, saying thanks Nobara, realizing what she did, I'm not alone, which is very, very true. He's not alone. Well, he wasn't alone, because people around him just keep dying, remembering how season 1 started. If you leave, a lot of people are going to die, which is kind of turning out to be true right now, unfortunately, but at the same time pummeling Mahito. And again, while I love Mahito, he's a great villain. Of course, I hate him for what he did. I can't wait for him to die, but also he's a great character. Have a character, give you those feelings. Very true, he's also a coward. He enjoys things, he likes to beat people, to use his powers, to experiment, to have fun. But when things get bad, he has a tendency to run away, and that's what also the clone does in this case. Well, this in this case was also a good plan for him, at least, not for what comes next. He runs, which makes Nobara start chasing him, and it leads to them reuniting, so to say, clone and original, and Nobara and Yuji. But here, what happens when they transition, they don't stop and fuse together again, because this was his plan also to swap opponents, so to say. The original goes for Nobara, and this is, I'm like, well, shit. Her face gets touched by the original. I'm like, yeah, so we lost another one, or I don't know how it's going to be, but from what happened, we're gonna get to that, what that touch actually did, because after this we get a bit more insight into Nobara. We see a bit of her flashback, her past, with her playing some games at a friend she made in school. She protected that friend Fumi from bullies. She definitely reminded me a bit of Yusuke. She kind of has that delinquent personality, very hyperactive. She felt out of place in that village there, very small, very cramped. She couldn't connect with people, which is very true. Sometimes you just can't connect with the people around you, and even more in this case, with how a lot of the jutsu sorcerers are more unhinged. She found a place with the ones in school, but back here she made a friend, Fumi. She protected her, and I really like that. Like I said, she reminded me of Yusuke, and then she started hanging around at Fumi's house playing games with her father there. But this is where she discovered another friend, so to say, kind of like a big sister. If you guys remember the flashback from season 1, that friend that got driven out of town, we see a bit more expanded onto that, and she brought Fumi along there. So they started spending time with, what was her name? Saori, my bad. But Saori was the big sister they never had, so all of them, or 3 of them, finally have a group, so to say, being kind to them. But unfortunately, the villagers, sometimes people are weird, especially in close community, so to say. They don't like outsiders, or they feel threatened, or whatever the reason is. We don't know the exact details, but this happens. She got driven out of town. I don't think she did anything wrong, by the way. Saori was shown and portrayed here, or just the community there being weird, villagers, traditions, and so on, which hurt Nobara a lot. She cried, felt like she lost an actual sister, and that's very true. When somebody moves away, I also had something, like a close friend of mine when I was a kid had to move away, and it hurt. Definitely hurts. You can get a lot more attached to non-relative people, so to say, which is a very good thing. But life also happens, circumstances, especially when you're young, you're not gonna be able to process those things quite well. But she still had Fumi. Now, with Fumi, she's a bit more into herself, so to say. Fumi, very shy. Now, Nobara is more opened. She knows what she wants, she goes for it, and she decides to leave the village and go to school in Tokyo, which we see with how episode 1 started in season 1, saying she's never gonna return. But Fumi felt sad and a bit left behind, saying, "You're not gonna cry for me." But Nobara doing her best to hold the tears back there, and saying, "Next time we meet, it's gonna be the 3 of us." So she still wants to find Saori again, and that was a very emotional moment, seeing her past, and you knew how they're just twisting their knife even more there. So all of the emotions, all of the flashbacks, you know, when something like this happens. And we get to see Saori also, because how she's in the present right now at work, working overtime there, and overhearing with a co-worker what's happening in Shibuya, saying terrorist, which, yeah, what Sukuna did there could definitely be the work of a terrorist. Like, he literally exploded, cooked Shibuya. I'm really curious how they're gonna handle that for the civilians. How are you gonna be able to cover up something like this? Like, Shibuya is basically gone there. What happens? I'm curious how the aftermath is going to be for everybody else there. And sorry, also thinking maybe things shouldn't be like this. Maybe I could have had a different life and talking to her co-worker about Nobara, how she got attached, how she acted like a big sister to Nobara and Fumi, and also thinking of what Nobara is doing right now, which, yeah, if only you knew. I don't know, maybe we're gonna see Saori, Fumi and Nobara unite, but I don't know. But this one definitely hurt. Now, here we see Nobara's kind of last introspective look into herself, saying she always felt different from everybody else until she met the ones at Tokyo. We see all of the cast there, the friends she made in school. She kind of found connection to similar people to herself. But also, sorry for me, I can't keep our promise for them to be reunited. And final words, kind of like Nanami said, looking at Itadori when he also saw her: tell everyone I've had a pretty good life. And her face, her part of here, which gives me some copium, start exploding, a lot of blood. Not her entire head, which I'm very curious about that. There's still a small chance she collapses down, but very much wounded or probably dying. And Yuji gets another punch to the gut, another person he cares about probably dead. And the voice did so much, just one simple word, seeing her there lying down, Kugisaki. He was still in shock, and I wanna kill Mahito even more right now. I hope we're gonna get to see his death. He more than deserves death for everything that he has done so far. Great character, but I hate him so much. And Yuji is like he's going through hell right now with Shibuya and everything. He, like I said, he lost Junpei, then Gojo got sealed, he lost Nanami, and now probably Nobara. But also makes me worried. Who is even safe at this point from the cast? Maki, have no idea if she's still alive. I hope they're not gonna kill her also like they did with Nanami. Then I have a spoiler with a character you guys know, if you know, Win. That one is into the future. Unfortunately, I got spoiled with that, but that's another conversation. And I don't know, we're gonna see what happens now, but I just want Mahito to get pummeled completely, obliterate him. I don't care how, have Yuji go into a rage moment, have somebody else come, whatever's happening, just do it. Oh, and Mei Mei, we still don't see the fight, Mei Mei versus Brain Ghetto or Fake Ghetto, however you want to call him. So yeah, Shibuya feels like Game of Thrones here. Characters are not safe, but we're gonna have to wait until next week and see what's going to happen. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about the episode, and remember to check out the podcast, Because Anime. Bye bye.